Over the last 48, 72 hours, we've really seen a tectonic shift in attitudes towards Russia in Brussels. If you had just sort of gone around to diplomats about a week ago, you would have seen about half the EU really thinking about lifting sanctions against the Russian Federation because of the economic hardship that Russia has been suffering through decline in the ruble and a sharp decline in oil prices. What we've seen is the shelling of Mariupol over the weekend has drastically changed attitudes in a way not seen really since the shoot-down of Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 a year ago. We've seen all 28 member states, all leaders, put out a statement saying they are now moving towards new sanctions. There's been a special emergency meeting of foreign ministers set for Thursday where these new sanctions are going to be debated. And again, that is a major change. What we've seen progressively in the EU is they don't move on sanctions unless there are triggers. The first trigger was the shoot-down of the Malaysian airliner. The second trigger was the arrival of thousands of Russian troops inside Ukraine, and this shelling of Mariupol clearly has become the third trigger. We've seen both the Americans and now the EU move very quickly and very decisively against the Kremlin because of this shelling over the weekend, and we're likely to see new sanctions agreed as quickly as this week. Now, in the past, the sanctions have focused in three sections of the Russian economy. There's been the financial sector, there's been the energy sector, and there's been the arms ban on Russia. The ones that have hit the most have been the financial sector, and that's where I think we probably would see the most change. They could deepen sanctions there. There's already been talk about going after sovereign bonds and forcing Russians or banning Russians from issuing sovereign bonds on European markets. But the big one that's been mentioned most often is barring Russia from SWIFT, which is the Belgian-based system that all financial systems talk to each other internationally. If Russia were cut off from SWIFT, it basically cut Russia off from the international financial system. Now, that's been talked as a nuclear option. I suspect they're not going to go that far this time. But I think when you look at what the EU is considering, those financial sector sanctions is probably going to be the ones that are going to hurt the most and the ones they're focusing on the most right now.